Welcome to Morning Message for August the 6th. A couple of days ago in the Morning Message, I told a story about my parents enjoying going around the Cabot Trail and stopping into every little gift shop that there is, and that's probably why I have so many. I have such a large collection of wooden whistles. They could also be called penny whistles. I'm not sure if you can call it a tin whistle because it's made of wood, but it's the same concept as the penny whistle. Perhaps the most famous company for making penny whistles is the Clark Company. So I get a lot of Clark penny whistles as well from my dad over the years. And as a consequence, I've tried to teach myself how to play the penny whistle. So the Muffin Man is a song, one of the first songs I taught myself, and it's the only song I know by heart. But I also know a few other hymns, I guess because the only music books I had readily access to were hymn books. I learned a lot of hymns. I Feel the Winds of God Today is one of my favorite hymns and pieces of music. So not on the wooden flute, but on the Clark penny whistle or tin whistle. Here's I Feel the Winds of God Today. So just another quick story about something my dad told me that happened, I think, when he was traveling around the Cabot Trail with Mom. And they were probably in Flora's. I think that's one of the big gift shops along the Cabot Trail. I think it's called Flora's. Anyway, that's probably where they were, and Dad couldn't leave a gift shop without buying something. And I don't know what it was that he bought on this particular day, but the store is fairly crowded, and Dad picked up his little thing that he was going to include in someone's Christmas package that year, and he bought it, and he's chatting with the sales clerk, and he's finishing off payment, and whatever it was has already been put into a bag, and Mom kind of walks up to the counter, picks up the bag, and walks out. And Dad told me that what he did then was look at the sales clerk, look at Mom, look back at the sales clerk, and said, "Who the heck was that?" If you know my dad, the expletive there might have been slightly stronger, but not terribly rude. But that's one of my favorite stories of Dad. And if you knew my dad. That probably really happened. That would be the sort of thing that he would have done. He would have tried to soak the joy out of every moment, and that was one of the great things about Dad. And that's one of the great things about all the people that I admire. Mom, in her own way, does the same thing, and I try to do the same thing. Try to soak joy out of every moment. Sometimes I go a bit too far, and those around me aren't enjoying it quite as much, and I always feel badly about that sort of thing, and that's when I seek forgiveness. But to look for joy, to look for happiness, even in the midst of very difficult times. there's not much that's funny about a lot of the things that go on in the world and a lot of the tragedies and difficulties that people face. But in the midst of that, people still find reason to laugh. People still find reason to find joy and happiness amidst whatever tragedy befalls them. My experience has been in a hospital room as somebody lay dying. People still laugh. They're not laughing at the situation. They're still finding reason to be joyful and to share moments of humor and joy and laughter in the midst of all of that. It's difficult to do. It's not always an easy thing, but it is one of the things that we try to do, not to avoid, but I think actually to deal directly with the situations that we're facing. I've never been one that really thinks that humor is a way of avoiding reality. I think it's a way of addressing reality, and we use humor in that way. So if you find yourself discouraged, if you find things being very difficult, try to find the energy, try to find the ability to look for moments of humor in your own life or in the life of the people around you, and share that with one another. My dad was always good at telling those kinds of stories about weird little things that he did, and he shared those stories because he hoped that it would bring joy to people's lives. And that's my hope and prayer for all of you this day, that you will find some joy in what you're doing. You might be able to tell by my location and the direction of the sun and that sort of stuff that I'm actually recording this on Wednesday, not Thursday morning. Thursday morning, when I'd normally be recording one of these, I'm actually going to be at the dentist's getting a crown. I somehow wish my insurance company knew that it wasn't cosmetic, that they're telling me I have to have one of these things. So I'm getting a crown placed, and they tell me it's not terribly difficult or complicated or painful or anything like that. But rather than worrying about that and trying to think of something to say for the morning message, I decided to do this on Wednesday afternoon. So don't worry about me. I'll try to find some humor in getting a crown. I can tell you that last week, when we were trying to match color, because the crown that they're making has to match my teeth, so we're looking for the color, and the dentist and the hygienist were there trying to figure out what color would suit best, and they asked me my opinion, as if it really mattered to me. And I looked at the different choices I had very closely, and said, well, you know, my daughter Riley, she says I should wear more coral. So anyway, they're not going to give me a pink tooth. I'm going to get one that matches more or less the color of the nearby teeth in my mouth. Anyway, my hope and prayer for you this day is that you will find joy, you will find humor somewhere in your day today. May God bless. Amen.